code review along these lines, your work will be stronger in terms of statement of the problem. The problem is that we write the statement of the problem ahead without doing our literature. But the literature review is to help you to identify the problem. So once you have done your literature review, you identify the gap, you will go back. I totally agree on methodology. He has to sit down to look at the methodology. I think you can't just walk into Lagos and be gathering this. Nobody's interested in the huge data. They're interested in how you follow the processes, to the data that you have and come to a conclusion. So I thank you very much. I hope that you find time to see me. And let's continue to work at it. There is no perfect work. But once the criticisms are minor, so to say, they let you go. Because learning is a continuum. But I congratulate you for coming on board.
Next candidate is candidate constructor. I hope everyone you have already been. Okay. Come on, boss. Mr. Dukuri, you look at the same for your company and pick a copy of it.
No, but it's good. It's good. No, it's good for us. For the students. It's for the students.
Okay.
You know why? This I'm not happy because that's what you think to be for the students.
Don't love me and something. Yes. Mr. Shorten, you have.
You can't see the president.
Why do you put the thing away from our business? Is it the social?
Yeah.
He's using this screen.
Okay, that's great. What? You should use it. You should use that.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but we have to see our candidates. Because that's why we could see that at the place you should lost the audience. So set this properly. Is it better?
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm just wondering, the recorder, can you go to the other one?
It isn't this, so it won't work like
You should have your laptop.
Because you need to have us and have your colleagues. So if Oga recorder means that he has to be at that corner with his laptop, let him be at that corner. We want him to take this. No, when the thing is already there, they will let you there while you scroll on your own. What's the name? No.
What we understand, you already have what you want to present in your paper.
You don't also have the printouts of it. So it's not what you see, want you because you are not coming back here. We want you to be able to carry on salon, including your colleagues.
Don't worry. You have done it.
It's good for me, you'll be backing your audience and your communication expert.
Okay. Okay, your 15 minutes. This is exactly 11:10 by my own time. Your 15 minutes. I'm counting.
My colleagues and you. My name is Oloruntola. I'm my supervisors and Professor Ismail Ibrahim and Professor Adikwe. My
title of my paper is Emergence of Afrobeat Music as Alternative Media Against Oppression. Now, I'm looking at.
Excuse me, Mr. Ashote.
Yes.
To help you, this is not your first seminar and it's not the second. So you have to give us feedback from the field. So,
Yes.
yeah, let's go to
4. Sorry. Yeah, my presentation and discussion. Well, now start question 1 says why we federal music be classified as alternative media against oppression. Well, what I've done, I have to simplify a little bit of myself. I did textual analysis, I had to look at some of the songs, and then I had to go through newspapers between 1970 and 1979. Found that where he was actually engaging the military government. And so the music of the song discusses a very unorthodox manner subjects that mainstream media will avoid. And I'll give some of his next songs. Sorry, I have to use one of his songs which says Napoli. I'm not going to explain that because it's not for this kind of audience. But he was able to use such language, which of course mainstream media cannot use. You can see one saying expensive shit, which is not what you will expect in the mainstream media. And then my second question too, what are the factors that led to the emergence of fellas Afrobeat music as alternative media against political oppression? His song Pansa Pansa says, as far as the idea is concerned, what he has seen of oppression, what he has seen of even the ineptitude of the military, as long as he sees that, he will continue to talk. He will continue to engage the person, and that is pretty much what he was doing. And then question 3, what are the positive messages in fellas music, and how do they affect the Nigerian military state between 1970 and 1979? Well, he sang about the oppression of the masses and the sit-tight military government. Jen Poku, for example, saying, "You are overstaying your stay. Why don't you go back to the barrack?" Or no soldier, of course, was a reaction to the burning down of his house. And the Allied was when he was picked up and locked in Allied workers, he tried to start his experience in prison. And then he also tried to say that the military government was ill prepared for the government. For example, in the song Zombie, he was trying to say that well, these people, they are just one track people. They don't reflect before they take decisions, and then being oppressive is in their nature. And then what's the relationship between selected songs of federal music and the manifest reactions of the Nigerian military regime? I found a very interesting perspective here. You know, in African music, we have call and response. The lead singer says something, then the chorus, the backup singer is responding. Sometimes the backup singers will say something and then the lead singer will respond. I found out that, for example, look at expensive shit. They came to his house, picked him up because it said he showed him the evidence and he saw marijuana in his house. And he snatched it and ate it. And then the police said he must explain for us. And then he came out and started to sing about expensive ship. Now, on Soviet, when on February 19th, 1977, the Soviets came to the house and bought the place and beat everybody up. There was a panel of inquiry. The Justice higher board of inquiry. What they said at the end was that when soldiers came there, but they didn't come because the military authorities sent them. So at best we can say whoever came to the soldier, you have your house, you are actually soldier, but they are at best you can describe them as unknown soldier. Which is trying to say that and then came out of it and sang a song. You could see the back and forth between him and the military. They kept, reacting or responding to each other. And then my final question is how much solar African music used for political mobilization between 1970 and 1979? This in 1970, when he came back from America, the first song he did, which actually was released from America, was Viva Africa. He was trying to mobilize Nigerians towards the war efforts of the federal government. And then sometimes he was saying to correct Nigerians, he would say, oh, opposite people, like we are not working with the system and that. And then he points out what was systematic wrongs. For example, sorrow, tears, and blood. And indeed, he was talking about the police, how they are ill-equipped, ill-paid, and they give them gun to go and harass and kill people. And then he offers new orientation. In shopping and smiling, for example, we're trying to say that, well, then, how about we don't take foreign religion, hook, line, and sinker? Can you see that the Pope, the Imam, they are all enjoying themselves, and the bishop is all, and we are shopping and smiling inside the bus in Lagos, within Lagos metropolis. Analysis and discussions. But I'm just saying that just a hash that form.
You have 5 more minutes.
Okay, sir. Eventually, they got back according to the and he was convinced of the mission to use his music to show a pathway and to confront the music. And his lyrics, of course, challenged the government and it got through violent reactions from them and other security agencies. Bola attempted to use his music to mobilize people. And then we look at summaries now. Bola's music contained content that mainstream media avoided. Other observations and feedback. The media is important to modern society. Citizens will always find a way to express themselves. The media government between 1970 and 1979 were extremely oppressive. American civil rights movement affected the direction of Federalist music. And some of the songs were autobiographical and others were protest songs. Of course, there was a call and response pattern between Federalist music and the responses of the today. Completion of Federalist music was used as an alternative media and it used audience attention to the military's excesses and limitations. And the constraint I had with this research was that, well, I had difficulty getting past the initial solutions. I use Moonlight Library, I use Tribune Library, I use the National Archives Library. I went to some private libraries, I couldn't get all those things in one place. And then my interviews were scattered all over the world. There are some I reduced them, and I said, I now talk to you online. They try, if I cannot talk to you in America, they have to talk to me. Some who are in France and in other countries agreed to talk to me. Then one other thing is that some of my interviews talk that I was interviewed there. Some of my interviews talked interviews were announcing it and we started talking about themselves. So it was a bit difficult trying to get them, but eventually we got them to. So that allowed them to talk, and then when they exhaust, they allow them to get them where they go. And then my recommendation, there's the festival and annual festival called celebration. I think if we turn into an international music festival, that you have the jazz festival in Newport, Florida, in America. And I think there ought to be a music school named after this musician. And maybe also the international in the music department of the university. Now, my experience is that
Whose phone is that?
so a lot of the materials and training and meeting the mission class. And it allocated almost 7,000 mission training and things, and that's daily times and watch. In training, 1970, January 1st, 1971, in December 31st, 1979. Many of the outcomes are not like very soon. I think there should be a way to inform universities and libraries in universities and other organizations to convert this faculty microfiche, which I use when I was a student in university. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Let me
Take your Bible, sir.
let me start.
Yeah,
Let Prof. let us start first.
it's not very
I want to be short too.
No, I know you have
Okay.
as a librarian, you have enough area to talk about something. I just want to leave my observations. I don't know, like even some of the things I want to ask you. So I look at references of the 40. Is it this style? Is it
AP as a new language use.
so I don't know what this
AP is 7th edition.
Thank you.
AP, American. That's what we are
you have
using.
to find out the edition.
No, it's 7th edition. It's not finding out. Okay, the current.
You said that.
So, but it's still
Six, so.
Eh,
If it is so,
eh,
what is not right,
six.
no, no. But that let's not find out.
Because 6 they are
They are still six, so. You know, there is 7th edition, but that's what they say that is, and that they want to award. So that's because of them.
These all these are anonymous and anonymous. If it is that way,
You know, those when you see that anonymous, there are many AI generated education.
That's true.
You have to do this, you know, and right?
Hey, just to
It's for your good, though, you go there now.
Then when you are discussing, you said there was a time you started your recommendations. Let me just your recommendations.
Scroll to the recommendation.
No. Yeah. Your recommendations are there from your findings.
Or what you think.
Because or what you think. Because your recommendations must come from your findings.
It should be the recommendation based on what he has said. They are not from the findings.
So just take note, please. Take note. So let your recommendations come from your findings. Then there was one I saw constraints. And as then later on you started telling us about the problem you face. And I want to see where you are talking about under your recommendations. So I think the language you want to use for this will be limitations. That is you have that the language you will use.
And you put that into
That should be yes. That's your constraint. Then after done your chapter 4, your chapter 5, I think there's nothing bad in telling us about contribution to bondage.
That's true.
It's not that there's nothing bad, it's a requirement.
It's a requirement. It's missing. It's a requirement.
Because that's a very key something that
Very.
contribution to knowledge. So it's handy, it's not there. So thank you.
Okay. Bro.
Mr. Shaffer, well done and thank you for the job done and the job so far. I am just feeling through your work and I looked at the whole of page 1. there is no reference. So you are writing fiction, and this is research. You must tell us the substance of your assertion. They are very important. So document sources. They use that to reach the entire world. We will not, I will read what the head of the department has said. Of course, I know that you need textual analysis. You see, this thing is called itself. And every institution has its writing style. So I would actually recommend that the style, the methodology adopted is historiography, and beyond historiography, you have to go and look at some pieces that adopted that in faculty of arts. I use myself always as an example. When I was doing my PhD, I read works by art students, people in theater arts, people in different places. So because those are the things already approved by the BG school, my supervisor never did all those things for me. So in terms of formatting and style, we didn't have one single issue with it. So you need to do that. And if you can go to last week, if you have the time, there's one work supervised by Layo. It's by Dedeji. It's a communication work. It's on textual analysis. So by the time you look at all those things, you're present, because I will see some commentary, I see some literature. Why do you have different methods when you want to study a problem? It helps you, like I didn't even said in this presentation, the limitation of one method is taken care by another. And so when you deal with your data analysis and your presentation, we want to see the points of convergence and divergence from your findings, looking at those methods. So when we have points of convergence, it is true. And it says that if you did quality empirical literature review, you will not know that aspects that are convergence or at variance with them. That's how knowledge is generated. That's how we produce knowledge in academia. We don't sit purposive sampling. And I think if you're looking at sampling, you have two methods broadly, whether it is random or non-random sampling. And this purposive sampling or judgmental sampling we talk about is when you are picking the elements, meaning the particular editions of newspaper or your respondents are you. So that's at the point of picking the real data sources. But you have to go and tell us broadly this and that. We don't want you to have problems. So that's used for getting elements. Then maybe I did not hear you right. I want you to help me. You said that you studied over 7,000 newspapers, am I correct?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
How many years?
10 years.
It doesn't matter. 10 years. Let me tell you, any thinking person looking at that one, we just can't, imagine that we are juggling this. Are you a machine? Are you using big data? What technology did you use to mine 7,000 newspapers? So it's very important you go and take a proper look at that. Let me tell you, no study is designed at a population. That's why you are asked to do, what do you call it? You are asked to do sampling. And even when you want to do purposive sampling, are you with me? This work, in my opinion, I may be wrong, and my colleagues are here, that you must have a multi-stage sampling. If you are going to study 1970 to 1979, am I correct? So you can list 1970 to 1979. How many years do we have? You have 10 years. So if you have 10 years, you now list it as a sample frame. And what is the required quantity? You need 10% to have a representative sample. So you can even sample 2 years. Or even when you get to that level, you can say purposely Fela was more active based on the music he released. Am I correct? On those particular years, so you are likely to have more content, and that is why you went for them. We don't expect you to study 10 years. Even if you are studying 10 years, you should be able to pick 2-3 years. That will give us a representation. And even when you pick that about 3 years out of the 10, based on how you sample it, You are also able to go better because this thing, if you read research methodology, it's a process. Meaning you have to follow it. Maybe that's 3 years that you picked, sir. Are you with me? Maybe you have picked the 3 years that you released those music. You know what I mean? It's going to there's going to be buzz around it. So you can now begin to look at the newspapers for that period. It will be the month pre the release and 3 months post release. So you must go through, how do I call it, multi-stage, even when you are doing that proposal. So based on that, you cannot come out with 7,000 because if you give us data from 7,000 newspapers, we're not going to have this. So you will have to go and think around how you streamline it. Then I talked about presentation span. You must be able to tell us points of convergence and points of divergence. We can't have commentary in one and have whatever in one. You must weave them around. That's why there are different methods. So it's like somebody doing survey and give me data for survey. Give me another data for interview. It doesn't make an interesting. But overall, well done. I think we are almost good to go. Then when you use all those NAPOI or whatever, put those things in italics because they are Nigerian lexical items. And whenever you use them, put in brackets the meaning so that you know it to be clear. Overall, well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof.
That's what is very.
I don't want to know, you can use explanation to put it. Concentration, let me tell you, you are here today.
No, you are here, you also put the industry with their hard work.
Yes, and you're media writer.
You are doing a research.
Yes, and you're a media writer, sir. Let me tell you, you are here. When my students come to me to make presentation, when I ask them questions, they will explain. I say, it's not as if I don't know. You see the way I'm asking you. A good communicator edits work from audience perspective. Once you drop it, you will not be there to explain. So anybody who is looking at your work as a reference material is not going to call you from your house. That Dr. Shote, please come and explain what this means. So if you have used any terminology, whether you don't have an exact expression for it, translate it and put it there. It's your responsibility. Nobody here on this side of the divide will do it for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Make it snappy.
That was it. Well, first of all, this is the last presentation in the department, and I want to believe that all of us in the department should create this. Okay.
In reality, that create this is not like this.
Oh, it will not be like that. No, it will not be like that. Oh, yeah.
I want you to get an expert to do a very good PowerPoint. Okay. Because your work is on purely textual analysis, and they need to capture it proper image, but if possible in a graphic format, and then you now tell the story. So that is one of the things. The PowerPoint is not where. Now I will agree with you that we have gone through this work, and we have been working on this process where even in the library. The references that I pointed out to you featured them in your discussion and findings. And I love the way he did his discussion and findings. They are all recent literature. But from chapter 1, in fact, from the chapter 1, the web said that you page, your first page, there's no single whole page, no single, and you can't say this off from your head. Is somebody's work that you have adapted and owned. So it can't be an orphan, it can't just be that. So you need to really rework. Aside from everything here, all your citations and your background, they are all old. And I will just within 1 minute, I will tell you what to do to change everything. Once you come, I will show you what to do to change everything to make your work present, because nobody will want to listen to you that you have been on this page for 10 years or 20 years. No, it's not that business. It's about we are seeing you today, so they want to see recency and relevance of it. So that is my number 1 point. Then the second point, I don't know, I think I said during the first presentation, please let's adopt APA Sixth edition. Because I don't know why you are putting pages in inter citation. Inter citation, the AP does not need pages. The pages will be there in the references. Inter citation. That's what you are doing. It's not good.
The way you are doing it,
And another thing that I don't know, I've removed that. I don't put much. The language of research is not conformed with your work. So you have the language of research. You have to, it's a research. You are reporting, you must not be seen.
inside it.
There's no preposition. Yes. No pronoun. No, there's no pronoun. And there's no noun that you can okay. There's no need of mention anybody's name, except you are citing the person and putting the year. Then I want to find out, so why do you start with the military? Your first paragraph, by the military, then into governance.
It's they will see your bias.
So I don't know when you start, and I look at the title. Emergence of Afrobeat.
If it's pro, they will take it as it.
Yes.
You start with what you are doing.
It has more relevance.
Also a political science.
Yes.
You are a communicator.
So just starting with military, I was asking myself, what is the really? I know he has issue with the military.
Yes.
But you have betrayed emotion in your work. And that is the truth. But it must not be seen. So you already involved yourself in this work.
You are already, they see your position.
Your position that you are proof.
So all the research is a scam. Yes.
You need to go to all
Afrobeat music is
I don't even know what.
Yes.
By conceptualizing what Afrobeat is all about with the relevant citation. It's not military. This military can come maybe towards when
it's almost like a literature review. That's the background so that's why you lost.
Then they are proper, but there's no contribution. And then your recommendation is outside your work.
It's what you think in your brain. Your findings is not
there's no need for me to start where you have this PP, all those, they have to be removed.
Except it's
A code and it's saying that you are quoting it. For all this, they are not necessary. So please, for the power, because at the APC, people want to see the beauty of your presentation. Okay, they are done.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Kutu. Mr. Shoten, my own is very brief and straight to the point. Very good. Number one, issue you will remember. Our candidate was at APC last week, and they what we can describe as a wishy-washy PowerPoint. This has been told me that it's just because of the relationship between, this department and this school that we will have dismissed that candidate. Please, let somebody do a good PowerPoint that is acceptable to the PG school.
Get a professional.
Yeah, that is one. Two, more importantly, beyond what Dr. Kiki said, I want you to see Dr. Shola. Because I asked a question here. How current and relevant is this work to the polity at the moment? Because your work must be relevant to the society. No. And those people over there, they can insinuate we are all media professionals. Say, are you trying to canvass for the return of military, even though it's not stated in your work? So, military regime is gone. We don't pray it will come again. And I want to tell you as a political communication expert that if there is a military regime, it will lead to the splitting up of this country. So, I don't know how this is my suggestion, how you can navigate this work that we see it as a philosopher You know, the writings of those philosophers, they are still relevant today. Do you understand this? Yeah. We are talking about oppression. I agree. But there is no military rule. Then I look at the objectives and there is a question.
No, yes.
My own position.
Yes, sir.
It's having a side conversation. It raised a very important point. And that's why we are here. Is this is departmental PG board, or else we have no business here? The supervisor has done his best. Our job is to make suggestions that he will take back. You know, he raised a very important point. One good thing about research is that it will solve the society problem.
Yes.
So he has said something, and it set me thinking. I didn't look in that direction. That if we say emergence of Afrobeat music as alternative media against political oppression, does it not suggest that we have taken a position? We're supposed to be open-minded. It's our present findings that will show us whether it is against political oppression. So your findings. So maybe if we're looking at Afrobeat music as media, how will I call it? Afrobeat music as a medium of political messaging or something. You know what I mean? But if we, of course, he's going to say he restrict in his as Dr. Kiki said, that in the or as a means for political emancipation, political development, or his place in Nigeria's political development. So he can say that it was findings can indicate that it was strongly used to fight against the military. You know what I mean? Because Kukola points ties to his feeling. You see, if two people are feeling somehow, that's why I told you, let us talk about it. If Okiki has this feeling and you have this feeling, and we're not asking you, sir, to go back to the field. Are you with me? We're asking you to walk around your findings, and so that we don't go back and forth. And you should know, you can justify if somebody asks you, why are you doing Afrobeat music? Are you in creative arts? What are you going to say? So the first thing is to establish that music is one of the contents used in media, for sharing information or sharing messages, on different issues. Am I correct?
Yeah.
It is used for development. You give example. When Sonny and they used him to sing about abstinence or whatever, this one used him to this. Fela was known for his use in discussing political issues. Am I correct?
Right.
So based on that, you are looking at it as a medium that is used to explore issues in Nigerian politics. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yeah.
So based on that, that's why it has become. And you now have a good gap. It's an area used in communication that is largely unexplored, because many people will look at news, look at this, or there have been many studies on those things around Nigerian democratic development. But music is largely underexplored. Hence this study. I don't think I'm making any sense.
Yes.
So based on that, you can now launch it. I rest my case.
Let me just comment. The word against actually suggests
You are taking a position. Why you study?
it has been, I
It's the better.
this problem, because I didn't look at this.
That is very well. Even when you have your bias, don't show it.
If we think I will title, it's not going to change.
It's not going to change the world. It's to save you.
It's to, because when we start, we must not be seen to have completed the research.
That's self-prophecy.
Yes.
You know,
So what are you going to do?
there was I don't know whether it's what we have to the who was working on the channel. You are in job. You know what I want to point out? That you must remove yourself from the research.
Yes. So
Then it must not be saying that you are already concluding from the beginning. So what we can do, I think we need to put our thinking cap on and see how we can tap this.
No, we suggest he has to meet his supervisor.
but take our message back. It's our
What, please just cycle the word against. That against
oppression.
oppression. These are words that have shown that You have done the research before you. You know the Lancome we used in those days.
You just try to massage the data to see
You just go to the back of the answer and pick it. And that work. I was one of the in the primary student. They were like, you can't get this mathematics and use almighty formula. Okay, I don't know what is almighty formula to today.
Okay, Dr. Kiki, that's all right. Now we have about 5 people online. Let's see, we have contributions from many of them. Hello, online participants. Hello, online participants.
No response.
No
response.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ashote. Please, next please. I have a question for us. Okay.
Anonymous. I think the newspapers sometimes.
Eh,
Yeah, I don't know.
So let's
I
hear.
think sometimes the newspapers do not want to identify the reporter. So
They didn't use clothing. They used clothing. They did it.
they wrote anonymous or they just wrote a reporter.
Okay, I think that
Then you use the name of the paper.
yes.
Just if it's Punch, just use the name Punch. It's an authority. Punch. No, it's even accepted. If I don't want to, you can just use the name of the.
It's accepted.
And then another thing another thing I want to do, when they sing a song, you say that song is not proper here. If it's part of the research,
It has to be.
it has to
That's
be. Somebody did a research on a cost in Yoruba language. When he did, they say you have to practicalize it.
Yes.
He brought a goat. He brought a goat, and when he was talking, all the hairs of the goat was just peeling off. And you are. He said, no, because I can't. He said, next time when you are coming, please, we want to see. And he came with the Baba. You know they want to do you are now when you want to do your presentation, bring people from Westphal.
Yes.
Who are presenting you.
Yes.
You don't do it here.
They don't do it.
Bring expert. If you are working on prisoner, you bring prison officers. They will stay there, then they will ask them, is that so? Dr. Okiki? I still have the meeting at the PG school.
Okay, so, sorry, yes, let me use the expression, you can see it's prophetic, I just call it prophetic.
That was how she was saying, Malaguera.
What I want you to look through, what I want you to look through, sir, I have used a publication, I did a study on Niger Delta. And when I was doing that study, people in Mobile didn't want their names mentioned. I recall talking to Don Bonham in Shell. He said he doesn't want, so I wrote to the funders, they agreed. So you can use anonymous and put the dates. And like I said, if it's in a newspaper, you use so newspaper and you put the dates and the page. If we go and the citation will show the title of that article or editorial or news or anything. So we are able to see it. So anonymous, but when all your studies show anonymous, there's a problem. So
Okay.
you manage it.
When I agree with what my colleagues have said concerning anonymous, I want to prepare your mind that you can't predict the current APC
Yes.
on when it comes to using newspaper sources. Sometimes they are not, because of the credibility issue that Dr. Okiki raised earlier. So some of them they are uncomfortable with newspaper sources. Well, all the best.
Did you put the list of the newspapers you give at the back and how you sample the ones you use?
I did very times and listen together.
It's for your book. Put them as appendices. Put them as appendices. No, you have them as references.
No,
but your sample frame.
Yes.
You must have it. See, research is about process.
It's a systematic way.
Yes. You find it.
Thank you. Next. No, Mr. Sule. The next person is Akinshiku Olushola. Congratulations, sir. That's short there.
This one is small compared to this one.
Yes.
Go to chapter 4.
As you have 15 minutes, sir, and is your second seminar 5 now. Go to
Finance.
yes, chapter 4. Straight on.
Hello.
This is 11, 10, 50.
I'm watching that.
2. Thank you.
Let's go.
Why?
This is not
It's conspiracy. So
No.
one person wants to, no problem. I'm just doing it.
right. Go to
You know why?
Finance.
I'm a supervisor. Dr. Mali, say post to continue. It's going to chapter.
Okay, number.
No problem, but yes, yours.
Slide backward.
It's not too small.
Okay. Now, next slide. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My colleagues, good afternoon. I have gone to the field and I'll be presenting my findings. My name is Akishiku Oloruntola, and the focus is on the assessment of the communication approaches of NEWMAP. NEWMAP is the Nigeria Erosion and Watershed Management Project.
I'm protesting. I'm not listening to my candidate and you're not reading it.
So, the findings are in line with the research questions that also flow from the research objectives, having established the fact that there is a gap, and I'll quickly talk about the gap. NEWMAP communication objective approach is broken into two: internal communication and external communication. This is against the UN's teaching policy that social and behavioral communication, strategic communication should be to examine 4 major areas. And I quickly present the 4 areas. 1 second, please. They must include behavioral change communication, communication for social change, communication for advocacy, and strengthening and enabling media and communication environment. So I saw the gap and I wanted to examine the effectiveness of the approach on the communication managing the watershed and erosion problem in South and Southeast Nigeria. My findings on the first question, to determine the communication approaches that NEWMAP used. The study found out, 1, that NEWMAP used community engagement strategies, stakeholder mapping, and sorry, they have to. No, let me see the visual. Okay. The local and indigenous communication,
audiovisual communication, and digital and print media. Newmark used all of this in communicating about the desired behavioral change observed in the community. Next slide.
Next slide.
Now, to ascertain the effectiveness of Newmark communication strategy, which is the second question, the study found out that the behavioral change communication aspect was not effective, especially on the individual level, but it was effective in social mobilization and effective for communication for advocacy. Next slide. Now, Newmark's communication approaches to information needs, having established the need for communication and areas that communication is needed. The study looked at the Newmark's approaches to information needs and found out that communication strategy, there is communication strategy. There is a sync between what is promised and what is delivered. We also found out that there is prompt compensation. The activities of Newmark required that people's means, sources of livelihood, farmland, houses had to be destroyed, so as to make way for the new construction that are coming as platforms of intervention to mitigate soil erosion and water scarcity use in the focus, the states. And so they found that, the study found out that there is this prompt compensation. We will take your farmland, we will pay you for it. And that enhanced the trust in the project. There is transparent procedure. Everybody, the study found out that there is a community interest group that Newmark promoted. And this community interest group was the platform of engagement between Newmark and the communities affected by the intervention project. There was also grassroots approach. Grassroots approach to beneficiaries, to empower beneficiaries. So it's flowing from the leadership of each community to everyone affected. The study also found that there was engagement with key stakeholders through the community interest groups, the leaders, and even traditional rulers and faith-based organizations. And finally, there is open feedback mechanism that Newmark has taken into the communication approach, and this promoted the issue of trust and believability. It enhanced the integrity of the project. Next slide. Now, limitations of Newmark's communication strategy. Another question, research question. Trust and collaboration challenges. There is trust, the study observed trust and collaboration challenges in the sense that Newmark project was seen as a government project. And so, people connecting the project with government, they have some problems believing them. The finding was that once they know that Newmark is a government project, they say this government will sell. So there was that trust and collaboration challenge. Now, there's also the negative societal attitude towards environmental sanitation. The study uncovered that people's means of livelihood included illegal sand mining, illegal deforestation, they weren't even interested in rain harvesting. And all of these were the issues that promoted erosion problems in the first place. The study found out that to an extent, there was this negative societal attitude towards environmental sanitation. And these are the major limitations of new map communication strategy. Next slide. Enhancement prospects for new map communication strategy. The prospects. Collaborate engagement strategies. That is what prospect. Preference for face-to-face communication. We found out that it was more effective, and that is the primary job of the community interest groups using the state non-governmental organizations. They call it FUNGO, non-governmental, to interact, to interface with the people. So there is massive face-to-face engagement with the people.
5 more minutes.
Next slide, please. So my conclusion from the findings of this study, I conclude that the new communication approaches to behavioral change in Southeast and South Nigeria was effective, and the effectiveness hinged on the adoption of strategic communication, that is advocacy, social mobilization, and program communication, using a good mix of primary media, town hall meeting, town criers, faith-based organizations, which are largely indigenous, relying on interpersonal communication, and reinforcement media, the primary media, and then the reinforcement media that we found in flyer. Next slide. So, contribution to knowledge. I'll just take two because of time. The first one, this research will advance our understanding of how integrating multi-channel communication strategies, including digital media, traditional media, and interpersonal communication, enhance behavioral change in development projects. Thus, it will provide a framework for tailoring communication approaches to specific demographic groups to minimize impact. I take last one. This study highlights the importance of trust and consistency in communication strategies within development projects, and underscores the necessity for alignment between communicated messages and actual project delivery, emphasizing that trust is a critical factor in the success of such initiatives. Next slide, please. Recommendations. Next slide. Suggestions for further research. Future research should focus on evaluating the effectiveness of participatory communication strategies in different contexts and identifying best practices for their implementation in development projects. Next slide.
That's all.
Okay, sorry, before I take questions, I think I need to tell the audience that my supervisors are Professor Abigail Wissing and Professor Abigail Tejumali. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bishop. Over to
Let me say that I'm already counting on the number of plates of rice.
nobody will eat rice.
Just so let's say, let me say prophetically, Dr. Abishiku. So we have, I think some of the things that there's no. When I was talking about only your work, you can see that it doesn't even need it without even looking at the slides. Because I don't know the usefulness of the slides. That's the negative aspect of the work. Because the slide should be something that people can read. It's too wordy. So it was explaining there. So even without looking, I want to why did you put it slide for this one? Because he was talking to it. He was talking to it. So that one he will need to effect the changes or do the normal thing when before you go to PG school. Because you have presenting like this at the PG school. But I want to ask, is this, look at page 104. This source adapted from table 1 appendix. So you no, don't take it to. Don't take it. I want to be clear. Is it for your work? Yes. This your
Yes. Because you are not on trial.
No. It's not that because no, I'm not saying if it is your work, let us confirm from
Yes.
Let's find out from SPDF if we are allowed to put source under this one. Since we are not, if you are adapting it from somewhere, I think you can put it. But if it is from your own work, if you still need to put it, then you still put it from your work. So that's what I'm saying. Yes. Then I think the my own something is I don't know.
So not page 1.
I'm going to
ask first.
Then go to page 109. Page 109, your tables. You will need to put them in what do we call this one?
Let me see.
The first one is
You don't have the copy correctly.
What did it?
When you put something, what do you call this one?
Okay, points, bullet points.
Bullet point. You don't need to put your thing
or you put
go straight. Put straight to your post. So that, yes, you don't need to do that one. You are repeating what I'm hearing.
You can even turn it to post. Bullet point is not. I agree.
Then page chapter 6 is not. I'm not contribution. Page 163. Summary, conclusion, and recommendation. And not contribution to knowledge is not part of the title of chapter 6. It's not contribution to knowledge. It's a section here, but it's not part of the title. So just to make sure that we align with what SPDS format. Then, well, you have tried, at least you gave us about 5 contributions to knowledge. So at the end of the day, God will help us, we can get through it. Because you know their language is different from what we are doing. So at least you have put something there. We can rework it. The people that will look at your work, they will rework it and come out with their own contribution to knowledge. So that is
Thank you. Yes, Dr.
Thank you, Mr.
Kishik. You are from Mongo.
You are from
I'm a data I just want to congratulate you. I love your presentation, your presentation skill, very, very good. Maybe and suit service also complementary.
Hey.
No, that's part of it too. It's part of it too.
You walk you out.
So I think we should practice that
Self-presentation.
yes, so that seminar part of us. Yeah, let me talk from the aspect of the area of my strength, which has to do with your citation. I don't know how many years I've been on this.
From my kid
I'm the one bring this inherited candidate. You have to do. Maybe before we leave, I will
see him.
No, I can just show them just how to update your old references. Just within 5 minutes, I will do it here because I will just go online. And that actually characterize the entire citation, 80% of the work, they are old citation. Then secondly, I don't know the problem we have in Africa. We cite foreigners. Though I see you citing Ogbuefi and I've already cited it, Ogbuefi 208 will not be accepted. There are other recent works she has done. She's a professor. She keep writing. And there's no way you can tell me that this work, that the last time you write in this area was 2008.
About 2 or 3.
And most of the publications that have to do with the 208. But that was during time, maybe when you were still with but so now let's go to page 84. 84. Towards when you are running up your literature review, then you say the way forward. What is the way forward? I think what we are trying to do is to summarize your literature review, and also page 84.
Thank you.
The way forward, which way forward?
Okay.
Yes, like we are already recommending. Let me have your uncle.
You know I'm taking it because I saw that I can guide it. Okay, it's noted. Just put it, highlights of the
Summary of the video, not the way forward. Then let's go to page. Please, APA format is very, very important. Please, that Alan, they are still using 6th edition. Page 110, 110. I would have made comment on methodology. Rob has already addressed that. That is the page 109. There's no point talking about it. Yeah. But there's a comment there, 109. We say in summary. Which summary are you doing?
From the above.
Thank you. 109 in summary. You are referring to the table.
Yes.
So there's no summary. And then the table should also be numbered.
Yes.
Those are past that.
Then when you get to the second page 110, the table is not number 2. That's another methodology. You need number, you need number. Then I don't understand what you mean in interpretation, lack of knowledge about what are all these things stand for. And the entire page from under the table, what you need to do is just explain the table with the pros. And that's it. You have a lot of money to. So I think what you want to do is that also you have said it in summary. There's no need to be in summary. There's a table you are referring to. There's no need. You are not writing any summary now. There's a section for summary. So from interpretation, lack of knowledge, which is some root and subjective, then or page 110. That's 110.
So 109 to 1.
The table.
109 to 110.
Yeah. So, but please remove in summary. Then that paragraph just comes directly. Then let's quickly go to page 147, which is page 147. I've done a lot of that there, but it has to do with your, this is a discussion of family. You have gone to the field, recent contribution to knowledge now. Now you want to corroborate this your knowledge. Whether you are an orphan, whether this knowledge is an orphan or somebody has alluded to it, or somebody has even.
You are distracting the attention.
Or somebody is not agreeing with this position or is agreeing with you. But all the people that agree, they are old people. And we're 2025. In
one of your findings is this is in convergence with Ogwezi, Jessica 208, page 33. Please remove the page. Go and look at the paper that you are citing. You will see recent people have cited the work. This
Hello?
in fact,
so please, you need to update. You can't be citing old citation in your discussion of money. Is it that they are agreeing or they are disagreeing with it? But you must be listening. You can pick the old, but let them, when you don't see them, if somebody has it, there's nobody. That means that the contribution now is nothing. That is, if there's no, if this 2008 is the, you have come the entire literature, there's nobody, then you can say so. But I will tell you it's not true. I can just go online and find out that it's not true. Why you are talking? I know. So that is that. Because you will see it, I've already cited all the authors you are going to replace. Either you replace them or you add. Now, let me talk about the politics of citation. You see, when you look at citation index of the Western scholar, they keep increasing. Or else, you see a professor in India who has written so much. It's candidate or candidate that is what they don't even cite. It's your lecturer within the faculty who have written in this area, they are not cited. So how do you want them to listen? So please, local content is very, very important in our research. It's not all, in fact,
if she goes to the geography department,
you will see.
it.
So we need to cite ourselves. At least in our citation, we should have at least 50%. Maybe the university should make a policy.
Yes.
That's what we do in the company.
We should make it a policy. You can't be doing a PhD all that is stress where our all brown. We have people who are writing.
Brother, it was a point of conversation during my thesis defense. They asked me that I've cited so many notable Nigerian authors.
Yes, sir.
I said, Makiwa Adebusoye and Okonofua. Okonofua is a professor of Ghana in Unibank. Makiwa Adebusoye is in England. So it's local authors.
Local content is it's not the first time. I'm just saying because I don't want anybody to flaw your work. You have done beautifully well, sir. You have to cover all the loopholes on what you can do. Publish your work, and then put on edge and you begin to explain what you want not to have explained. So that's just
The observation is the mind. I also told you. I thank you for the effort.
No.
We feel that gap. And God in summary will just say for just the reference to table this.
I will show you just now. A Google scholar will do that. In a scenario where you don't have access to the material, you can visit the library online sources. But you don't even need to visit. I will show you what to do now. Quick one. On how to update all your old obsolete literature. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Please, kindly note. Kindly note all the correction.
I like to publicly commend Dr. Kishipu for his resilience. And methodology took us up to 6 months. Am I correct? Dr. Up to 6 months. Methodology, yes. Each time he came and said, no, this is wrong. Go back to those states. So where is the other one? Anambra State. I want to see the CID. I want to see this. Because we want less problems. And he was following through, till we got to where we are today. So thank you very much for your defense and for your patience.
Before the last question, Sule. Mr. Sule. Yeah. The last time we asked you to make some corrections. And let me confirm from the supervisor, if the corrections. Hello, sir. Let me confirm for you. Let me confirm for you. Stay where you are. You ought to have done that now. You are wasting that time. I always ask if you have given your work to the secretary so that they can reject it. Okay, so Mr. Sule came for the first seminar on 27th of August, 2024, with the pen, and the board asked him to go and effect some corrections. So let me ask, sir, if you have done the corrections the board asked you to do. So can you present? Yes, for our attention.
Good afternoon, someone and the two of the BT.
10 minutes. Yes, now.
My name is Mr. Osule. My supervisor, Professor Oloruntola and Dr. Adams. Last time I was here last year, I was asked to actually change my, I was asked to refill my topic. And that was the first session I did. Media education of hijab. He selected Nigerian newspapers. So, and the second question I was asked to also has to do with the fact that I have to, give credence to the source of my selecting the 4 newspapers. The fact that I have to acknowledge the source where I got that particular information from. And I've done that student here 2022 and after 2024. I've done that also. Then I was also asked to ensure that I order my research questions. In line with the new topic. And I have also done that. Yes.
Okay.
So I know that line with the let's say the objective test. So I know that line with the so now I've also included the aim. The aim of the study should be examine.
Mr. Sule, one of the issues that we raised from the statement of the problem, please don't skip it. Go back to the statement of the problem. I remember clearly, yes, that was the issue that actually
Yeah, no problem.
Come back. The statement of the problem.
I'll take one by one.
No,
I also
No argue.
You have gone to objectives and you know you objective to this call before.
I got the sorry.
Only asked to do this under the statement of the problem. I'm now sure that I was asked to do this. This was what I did. That's what
Yes, the last time in line what you said earlier on, that what I did was the fact that I did not anchor my statement based on that I was being judgmental. My son was the problem.
I said I did you. It is your word that said it, not me.
That was the graduation. You observe.
Okay.
You observe. That's the word I'm using. So I went ahead and something. I went back and the other day thinking of the problem. So being judgmental, so anchoring it on some studies that have been done, that are similar to the one I'm doing now. So also the fact that I also opened the fact that the study there for 6 to 8 days.
Can you read it? Read it.
Okay. Read it.
Just watch the correction you have made.
Okay. The question I made was,
this thing is to help you.
yes. I said, but a few studies such as Galadima et al. Points to the poor handling of Nigerian diversity by the media. These scholars all acknowledge the contributions of the media to national cooperation and integration, highlighting the gains inherent in diversity. They seem, however, to concur with the findings by Harvard that the media emphasize current ethnic and religious differences more than similarities. Then I also said that almost said that in line with that, also said that research has proven that most of the avoiding national crises we suffer in this country, respectively, especially from the religion bit, were not necessarily feminist upon the nature of the event, but the manner in which most of the events are reported. And now actually include this one. This study therefore seeks to investigate the veracity or otherwise of the information scholarly findings with regard to the media coverage of the hijab. The last one. Furthermore, even though media specific scholarly publication on hijab is scarce, but their related studies on the best coverage of politically influenced religious controversy, so that of Mazane and et al., which mainly focus on the perception of parents and teachers on hijab dress, in Christian name non schools in Nigeria. However, that study aimed to find out the presentation that selected recipients of Nigerian media space give to the hijab wearing female folks in their reportage through a quantitative content analysis method. The research is also tailored to assess the perspective of the hijab wearing folks, female Muslim folks, on media education of the hijab through in-depth research methods. That is exactly what I. Please, can you? No. Yes. Sure. So, those are the research questions. What is the frequent objective of question? Okay, so the research seeks to is underpinned by these objectives. Number one, to examine the frequency with which the guardian or selected recipients report the hijab. Number two, to examine the phrase that selected recipients use in the reportage of hijab. Number three, to analyze the similarity and differences, presentation to the guardian, punch, data, and study this part technology of the hijab. Then lastly, to explore the perspective of the day wearing film in commercial education of hijab in Nigeria. These are the new the objective that objective in line with the
Mr. Sule, at the PG school, whenever they ask you to do what you are to state what was the problem
Yes.
and what you have done. The page where we have that correction, especially to save our time.
So the 5 minutes.
Yes, now. I was expected to have given you proper orientation at the departmental level.
Let me just help you, sir. You are still making the same mistake. This is a very good research topic. And we know the problem. The problem is obvious. You know the cause of the diversity that we find ourselves in this country. I expected you to have come from that diversity angle. The bias that has been established by maybe you can even paint it with literature by Christian-owned newspaper. And you can trace it. No, you may not even, you have a lot of author to insight. You must be able to paint it that we will not even, in Yoruba, in this part of Western Nigeria, if we're to be in the north, there's no problem. There is no. Are you with us or you are reading another book? You are not. You are checking. Okay. This topic will be an issue in the north, but it's an issue in Southwest here, and you are unable to pin it down to the Southwest issue.
Is there
It's not there in what you are presenting.
Yes,
Don't argue.
It's not there. The issue that
Are we dealing with cohesion? Are we dealing with diversity?
Diversity. You see my
For this issue, yeah. You are to, sir, look at me. You are to pin it down because if I were you, I will come from the angle of the general. The general, you start from the general perspective. The North, in Arab world, these are not issues. But because of our cultural diversity in the Southwest, it became an issue. You can cite the IB, secondary school, Oshogbo. It's an issue. Why is it an issue? You are pointing to the paper. It's not in your correction.
Mr. Sule, I've said it too. When you go to PG school, you will not be able to say anything. In your statement of problem, you must be able to tackle the what, the why, and the how of the problem. And it must be evident.
And the reason why this your work is very, very key is religious. Because we are in the Southwest where everybody's an edge, where you are talking about it. So you must be able to convince them. You want to solve a problem. Is that not so? Yes. In solving problem, you must not be part of the problem. So in solving this problem, you must not see yourself as part of it. So what I keep saying is that pin down the work is there, but you have, it may not be more than 2 or 3 paragraphs. You are tackling what you want to say. Let the people that is looking for it is there. And then when you are doing your PowerPoint, hold it. Know that you are telling me it's there. You can't go to this and tell me, sir, it's there. Like John and someone, can't you see? That's the meaning now.
Sorry.
You're talking to someone, can't you see?
I don't wonder why we are not having the word diversity in the title.
The problem is based on diversity.
They are already. I wasn't here. When you want to do a study, there is something that is making me that will make people say yes. Let us look at this issue. If you say media representation of hijab in selected newspapers, wow. It could be on issue of representation of diversity in this study of the hijab controversy or the hijab issue in XYZ. I don't know, supervisor. So we know where we are going to. Why should it really be an issue that should be subject, you know what I mean, to media coverage? But if we don't say it's representation of a hijab selected Nigerian newspaper, and you wanted to find out. And you see, if you want to do this study, you must visit thesis and projects done in religious knowledge department because they will have done something. If you don't sit in your comfort zone here, the thing is telling you is what you are going to meet here, because don't be surprised on that day somebody from religious knowledge department will sit here.
And he has his own bias too.
Yes.
And he's looking at it. Because when if you present this work in Islamic environment, since everybody will clap for you, because they will look at the same reason that you are using. But in the Israel where we have diversity, we have Christian, we have Onisese, the traditionalists. They are looking at you. So it's going to create a lot of, but because it's your work, you must be able to convince everybody that you have observed a gap that you want to solve.
Okay. Is this studying media representation of religious diversity or what? Or just go to states? I don't know.
I still believe you can
tweak the title.
You can. If you read it, I don't think the intro should not be.
It's not be flat.
Yeah. The intro can take what
media representation of religious
the diversity issue. You can start your
from the opening
sentence. Literature of media and religious diversity. That will help me.
Okay.
Media and religious diversity.
So.
Okay, that's what we're asking is, the last thing I can remember clearly, the issue that you had with us during that day was based on segment of problem. Nothing we just stop, we stop your statement of problem.
And the statement of problem is still yet to be problematized. Right. So, Mr. Sule, we advise you very strongly. This is the position of the departmental PG board. So you are proceeding to the next seminar, but you have to perfect everything that this board has said again. And after, in line with in conjunction with your supervisors, you give the department a copy for documentation. Okay? It's all right. Then down, before you.
No, I'm not going. I'm
From-
not saying them.
No. I have another meeting. Then you will take over at the PG school. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can take your seats. We want to congratulate all the presenters today. I will equally commend those of you that came to observe. We are keeping records. I said it before, tell your people, some of you will be denied of departmental seminar if you have no record. The department makes it mandatory, it's compulsory. We saw 5. I be happy one.
I want you to put them.
No, I think I sent it to only 2 students.
Okay.
They share it among themselves.
It's just one person. That's
Eh?
You give me the information.
Take that person.
Who is the person?
Okay. You are the only one. Nobody is doing it right now.
So it's compulsory and it's to help you. It's to help you, to prepare you academically, psychologically.
No, if I saw it, I would have told one of my cousins I was in travel. My students,
Mr. Sule, you will see.
There is a thesis on the hijab controversy in Nigeria. Okay. Have you seen the thesis before?
No, he has not.
You have not.
We are not.
If you have, it will reflect on your work.
So, like I was saying, you must tell the people that are not here that when next we organize another seminar, you must be here. It's compulsory. From today's seminar, Yusuf and Sule, they are proceeding to the next seminar. And from the presentation here, Akishiku and Shote, we are proceeding to the next level. The next level is the preparation of the 40-page document in conjunction with our supervisors, and the PowerPoint, which they must show us here before we send their papers to the PG school. The 2 will be joined. We have another 2 on ground. They will be joined by Jimumi and Ogenike. So I will discuss with the HOD. So we know we are very busy, like Professor Wilson said earlier. When I will suggest we have that departmental prerequisite early in February, so that we can send their papers
Because beautiful. You send papers there will be. They will call you next week to come and present. So yes, beautiful. So we have to do it
very well.
Very early. So
it's better you take advantage before the next
Translation will be for some time now.
No, I can't. Let me see number 1. You saw the power of the board. It's the board that will have allowed the student to go out. The board will announce.
We will review. We will review our position.
We solve our power.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry, sir.
Well, next time we will not have to. That's number 1. So I think and you see that what we did today was just like what do we call it? Imagine what do we call it? What went to something important.
Something is the one.
No, what we did that this projection
Yeah.
rush something. It was not planned. So what I think that the next word by the piece of work will be better than this. We will share the link before the event starts, so that we will have a better organization. Thank you, and I will have to thank the people that came to help us, because Daniel says to do what he says we all the government. The wife goes to bed, he said it's on paternity leave, so I cannot be lying here. So no, I'm just saying. So
That's how we live.
that's what we have for our students.
Who stepped in very well. They did
So
excellent.
thank you. Thank you. I tell myself, I said, this is because I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You are not relevant where you are. When you live somewhere and people don't feel you are absent, it means you are not relevant.
Yes.
So if you are relevant, people will record with you. They know this person is not around. So thank you and God bless you. And I'm sure some of you came late and your handwork. Some must have learned those of you who are academically inclined. You listening to what you are.
It's a training process.
Yes, a training process. Thank you and God bless you.
So,
Thank you.
before
I
Dr. Kiki wants to show some just 5 minutes. There's another. They are waiting for me there.
Yes. They are working, whether they are
It's very valid.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we go to meet now.
See, but what you say that going for this seminar, what do you now tell these two people, Sule and Sule? Because they are just saying they are moving to.
No, you know that
They
they are
have.
moving to the picture.
What's the deal with this type of thing?
Their correction now.
They will have to do their correction. Bro.
Because you just say to the next one.
Their correction show
Because you are like, they should watch you feel and come back and say,
Sule and Yusuf.